KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Well, good morning, everyone. Aloha. We're here at the Neutral Zone. Welcome. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jason Schwartz, your host, here at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. We are hosted by KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, and we're simulcast on KAKU, Maui Community Media, and on your phone, that's Maui Stream. But because we have MauiNeutralZone.com, you won't find our shows on the KAKU repeat stuff up there for radio and stuff. They have this rule that when we're promoting ourselves, they don't put us on their channel, which is an interesting choice. But if you go to MauiNeutralZone.com, you'll see the shows. This show, it'll be up there by tomorrow, December 2nd. But you'll also see hundreds and hundreds of other shows we've done over the years. And there's a search engine there. You can put anything up in there. You can put in affordable housing. You can put in ice cream. You can put in Rick Bisson. You can put anything you want. And every time that's been mentioned on any of the shows, whether in transcript or in a summary, but mostly transcripts, those shows will come out. So it's an interesting tool moving forward. Also, what you're going to see up there is that we have an interesting sponsor, MauiCoastProperty.com. We really call them donors, or I guess that's what they are. When they make real estate sales or referrals to other agents and get real estate commissions, 60% of what they receive is going into the Dreammakers Foundation of Maui. That's Mama, Maui Arts and Music Association, and Papa, People Aligned in Positive Action. Go to dreammaui.com, you'll see that. So what is all that? What is all this? This is a way of saying we can take our own initiative, see a vision, follow through and hold that vision, and actualize it over time. You've been seeing me, those of you who've been watching my face, you've been seeing me, whether I was a substitute teacher back in the mid-90s or ran for mayor and council way back then, or started doing shows and kept doing shows, and you see me singing here and there and a little with here and a little there. Haven't really pushed the music thing much, but I'm going to be doing it again because the idea that would have been the New Year's Eve and New Year's Day of the first opening of the Cultural Center turned into something that is really important now. And we'll talk about it at other times. Today I have a guest. You're not seeing him here. Andy Herold. Andrew Herold owns HydroStar, which is a company that makes machines that generate HHO, which is hydrogen, electrolyzed hydrogen. In other words, you basically remember when lightning would strike water and it looks like that's steam or something, but it's not. It's a state of gas called, it's a state of gas or plasma that's hydrogen. 2 hydrogens, 1 oxygen. That configuration is different than just hydrogen like you see in a glass. And Andy is the one that makes the engine. He got the rights to the engine from Daryl Mason. That's a longer story. But he makes the guts of a handful of machines that are already on the market. Not only that, he, again, through us meaning the Dreammakers Foundation, Maui Arts and Music, and Papa, People Aligned in Positive Action, making these available to the world. Of course, we know that any kind of advice you hear is anecdotal, meaning examples from real life, but this is not into scientific things. You can go check and see all the scientific proof that you want, and we recommend that you do. But I did an interview this week with Andy because I didn't want to get him and I up at some unusual hour, so we did it in a sensible way. And now I'm going to play, it's about 40-something minutes, an interview that I did with him during the week, and then I'm going to come back. But before I do that, I'm going to play one song. We played it last week, maybe two songs, but one would start with. Gracias, Senor. Marianne and Ames Anderson were here last week, and their interview is starting to get around to people. Gracias, Senor. You'll see it up on YouTube and through our page, but they are promoting a song that Ames wrote that is quite beautiful and honoring of people who've come here, and you'll hear it. In fact,
Gracias, Señor, por lo que ha dado, su honestidad y amistad también. Y gracias a su esposa por su trabajo duro para su familia aquí y su familia en México. You came here to work hard for you and your family. You have done as you said, to your word you've stayed true. This country is stronger for the strength you have given, for all you have given to me. My thanks I give to you. Cuídase, amigo mío, cuida a su esposa y su hijo. Trabaja duro por una vida mejor. Por usted, su familia aquí y su familia en México. Gracias, hasta la vista y vaya con Dios. Said, to your word you've stayed true. This country is stronger for the strength you have given, for all you have given to me. My thanks I give to you. Gracias, Señor, por lo que ha dado. Gracias, Señora, por lo que ha hecho. Gracias, señores, por lo que han dado. Gracias, señoras, por lo que han hecho. Gracias, Señor. Gracias, Señor.
I faded it there just so we can fit in our show. But you'll look for Gracias Senor. It's up there, and I'm sure it's going to be infectious as people get to hear this beautiful song that's so honoring of people. Well, here's me and Andy Herold just during this week. Aloha, everyone. This is Jason Schwartz. I am here speaking with Andrew Herold, Andy, but he is in West Virginia, and he has a company called HydroStar. But he is, let me let him tell you. Hi, Andy. How are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Thank you for taking the time to come on here with me. What I am hoping that we're going to be doing is little short blurbs from all the years you've been working at HydroStar. You created this company and you sell hydrogen machines that make HHO gas. What is HHO?
HHO gas is when you split water into molecules. So you have 33% oxygen, 66% hydrogen. And so for medical reasons, it only works if you split the water. If you use pure hydrogen that's done any other way, you don't get any medical benefits. It's only when you split it.
I see. So those little things that people see around that make hydrogen water, not that useful, right?
Well, the little ones you see that, like the little old water carrier or whatever you see around the sinks, they make hydrogen, but a medical dose, according to the Japanese Ministry of Health, is 350 milligrams is the minimum dose. And some of those only do 200, 250. I think that's very rarely. And I tested about 8 of them, and none of them got up to 350. So they still help, but they don't help as soon as much as if you were getting a full 350 or more.
And these little things infuse hydrogen in water. So that's the only way to deliver it, is drinking water, right, from these machines.
Well, no, they deliver it. They're even starting in Japan. They're starting to deliver intravenous through a saline solution. Oh. And you can breathe it also through a cannula. And
from these little machines?
Yeah. From the little ones, no, mine's a big machine. Mine does about 950 milliliters.
Well, yeah, I was going to get to yours, but
the little ones, it's only drinking.
It's really just everyone's getting in the craze about how powerful hydrogen is, which is true, right? But you have to get it in there. It's got to be really delivered. And your machine, what were you saying? It delivers what kind of concentration?
Mine produces at 10 amps, 950 milliliters a minute.
I see. Wow.
About 75 liters an hour.
And your machine, you can either take it and infuse it into water, or you can use a cannula. People see those things in your nose that go and you breathe it in. And the third way is encapsulation. Like, let's say if I had all kinds of something on my skin, right?
Right.
You could put me in a bag and put
well, there was a lady with carpal tunnel, and what they did with her, they got from a veterinarian one of those long gloves that go all the way to the tip of your shoulder, and they taped it off, and they put a small hole, and they pumped her arm full of hydrogen gas inside that plastic glove. And after an hour, she had no more pain, but it only lasted for about a day. Yet because she fixed it temporarily, but she had to do it. You have to do it for about 2 to 4 weeks before you actually really heal it all the way.
I see. How long have you been doing this? I know you now a bunch of years. Has hydrogen been catching on slowly? What's going on here?
I started in 2009.
Okay.
And what we did then, we didn't know anything about the medical side because that didn't come right away. I did it for pickups and cars and semis. And what we did then, we added into the gas into the air cleaner, and they were getting 35 to 50% better miles per gallon. But in '96 they started putting the software in the computers, and they started messing it up. So it only worked on the mechanical ones. And so I had real good luck for the first 2-3 years because they didn't have that software and everything. I mean, I've had a Jetta go from 42 to 66 miles a gallon. I have the Dodge Cummins 5.9 diesel engines. They go from 17 up to 27 to 29 miles per gallon. And that's even pulling a load. Semis, I've got them, they only get like, I have one from Nebraska that was getting 6.3 miles to a gallon, and putting the hydrogen on, he went up to 7.4. But in a
when
year,
you're taking long trips, that can be really a lot of money.
in a year, he saved $35,000 in fuel.
Wow.
Because every time you fill up, it's 350 gallons.
You still have those things for sale?
I have them for sale, but I don't have the customers.
No, we're talking about it, so someone might contact me and say, "Hey, what about that thing for the? Is it something that
it
can install?"
The trouble we're coming in nowadays is that the EPA put that computer software program on. So if you have catalytic converters and you have oxygen sensors, and so what it does, the software senses the difference between the oxygen and the fuel going out your tailpipe, and you have to have a certain percentage so it burns cleaner. You have less pollution. And so when you put the hydrogen in your engine, you have no fuel going out your tailpipe. But the trouble is that the software knows it, and it advances your timing and floods it and dumps the fuel out your tailpipe. So you have the computer fighting you.
I have a 2006 car. It's old cars. Is that old enough?
Well, 1995 is the one that doesn't have doesn't have the software. We call them mechanical. It's the mechanical engine. When they started going computerized, then you have to have a tuner and you have to do adjustments and stuff to get around the computer. And not everybody can do that. Matter of fact, very few people can do that. So it was just too much bother for the customer. So it kind of slowed down. But I still sell them to like farmers on their tractors and people in the forest and on generators, gensets. If you got a genset, it works real good. There's still a lot of engines out there, but I stopped advertising because my sales were so low that I didn't have enough profit to pay for advertising. So I just shut it all down. And so I still have an ad in the Farm Show magazine. So I still get calls from there from the farmers.
Right. So that wasn't actually what I was going to talk about today, but I thought that was a really important subject for everyone to hear about. I have a HydroStar machine, and I've now had it a couple of years. Maybe that's the reason I look like I'm 25.
You do look younger than the last time I saw you. I was going to ask you about that.
No, I'm feeling good. And I just am very thankful to have met you, because the things that I've seen were different machines that you built the guts of. You were I guess you'd say, you have this, I don't even know what we call it. It's an internal chamber. What do you call that piece?
I make the generator to a couple of the machines that are sold for large sums of money. I make the guts to them that make the hydrogen. They've just put all the bells and whistles around them.
And jacked up the price so they.
Yeah, because I sell one for like $75, and he turns around and sells it for $2,500. So I feel that I've done a good price, but his price I feel is overinflated.
Right. So let's talk about, from what you've let me understand, your wife is into nutrition, and you've been into nutrition and health for a long time, yes?
Yep.
So you have shown me so many articles. I thought we might take advantage of your expertise in research, because what you say, like you say, you're not a doctor, you don't even try to be, but you help people through the things you've learned, and you've been doing this a while. So I'd like to talk about different diseases and also different things in the world, and we'll take it in little bites. Maybe we can do a bunch of these. Here in Hawaii, when I say diabetes and pre-diabetes, it is unbelievable how many people here seem to be in these categories, and to me that always felt like it was totally avoidable through what we eat. Recently, I heard it was a virus. I don't know the real reality, but I know that I think of diabetes as too much sugar, or not able to convert something that your body needs. What do you know about it? Can you?
Well, actually, it's too many carbs is what it is, because even your carbs turn into sugar almost within minutes. It is too much sugar. It's the great American diet is too many carbs and too much sugar, but it sure tastes good. It's designed to taste good. That's how they sell it.
So, some people think carbs, that's bread and pasta and potatoes and those things, but it's also vegetables, right? It can be almost anything.
But see, the vegetables have enough fibers, so when the carbs are converted to sugar, the fiber absorbs it off and it bleeds off slowly, so it doesn't affect you as sugar does.
I see.
It's the fiber.
So what is the sugar really doing? Is it clogging things, or it's not making the right chemicals for the body?
Well, see, your body can run on different things. It can run on carbs. It can run on sugars. It can even run on hydrogen. So if you do enough hydrogen, you can actually convert and run off that. So I mean, we eat too much oil and sugar, and they combine together, and your body can't break it down and burn it up, so it stores it.
And it accumulates over time and manifests in all kinds of ways, huh?
And so we're actually eating too many carbs and not enough protein. So what happens is people eat the carbs, they put the fat on, they stop moving around, then your body needs, like my body, I had a doctor did tests on me. I need about 232 grams of protein a day and 136 grams of carbs. The carbs are for my brain, the protein is for my muscles. And so everything else is just burns up the fuel. If I do it that way, I can lose weight and my muscle mass can go up and my fat can go down if I do that diet. And if I go to the gym, then I'll actually gain weight, but I'll be gaining muscle and losing the fat. But we don't do that normally. Normally, it's just carbs, carbs, and carbs. Very little protein. And if you don't have enough protein, your body will start consuming your muscles, and you get weaker and weaker and fatter until finally your body dies.
Yeah. Wow. And seems to be, I guess it's a matter of circulation of the limbs, people losing toes and fingers and legs. That's all from the circulation cutting down through all this.
But a lot of that circulation cutting down is no exercise. I mean, you look at the average old person is not exercising.
Right.
I mean, if you went to the gym twice a week and even kept the same diet, you'd still get improvements. I mean, you get better.
Wow. Well, you're in West Virginia and I'm in Hawaii. We have different menus. What do you guys eat mostly? Not you, maybe. I want to say you're enlightened.
Well,
you're aware.
West Virginia is heavy into the meat, and they're number one in the states for cancer because of all that meat consumption.
Well, when you say protein, I'm like, well, that's sort of in that family. How do you get protein mostly?
Well, you got lentils, you got peas. I mean, pea protein is one of the highest proteins that they put on the market for bodybuilding. If you're going non-meat, if you're going into if you do a lot of meat and dairy and stuff, then you can buy protein drinks that have 30 grams of protein in them, but it's a lot of milk products and a lot of meat products. If you go to the vegan one or the vegetarian one, it'll have protein from lentil and peas and other different grains, and you can still get the protein that way, which is easier on your body to digest and stuff.
232 grams is
a lot.
I mean,
I don't always make it.
Well,
It's sometimes I do, but not often.
What happened here? Did something go off? I don't know. That's funny. We don't know what happened to that interview. This is a song written by Mele Willow. See if you can tell who this is about.
Make it fun, make it fun, make it fun. We got a one-to-one connection to the one-to-one action with the one. So if you're feeling kind of down, know that love is all around. It's in the trees and in the air. In fact, it's absolutely everywhere. If it's not fun, don't do it. If it's not fun, don't do it. But if you gotta do it, make it fun, make it fun, make it fun. We got a one-to-one connection to the one-to-one action with the one. So if you're feeling kinda down, know that love is all around. It's in the trees and in the air. In fact, it's absolutely everywhere. You don't have to work hard. You just work to be a part of this ministry of fun. And you know we'll get it done. If it's not fun, don't do it. If it's not fun, don't do it. But if you gotta do it, make it fun, make it fun, make it fun. We got a one-to-one connection to the one-to-one action with the one. So if you're feeling kind of down, know that love is all around. It's in the trees and in the air. In fact, it's absolutely everywhere. You don't have to one connection with the one. Oh yeah. One-to-one connection with the one. Oh yeah. We got a one-to-one connection with the one. Oh yeah. One-to-one connection with the one. Oh yeah.
Wow, that was Ministry of Fun by Mele Willow. I think we're going to have to record that song or release that one. Well, I don't know what happened. The interview with Andy Herold, we couldn't hear it, so it may have been off for there might be dead time. But if you're on the internet or hear the replay, we'll see what we do, how we're going to do this. Maybe make it a separate show. There was someone here that's going to be coming on the air hopefully soon, and one of his responsibilities is to be a guest on air. And with the stumbling that just happened, I thought, you know what? I should say, let me take advantage of the moment. Michael Weintraub, aloha, welcome to the show.
Aloha, brother. How are you?
Let's see your mic. Go ahead, talk and say hello.
Hello.
Oh, you don't have to be that. You can just be here like that. Put the mic in front of you, and then you can look at me. How's that? Now, say hello.
Hello and aloha to everybody.
Keep talking. You don't have to yell. You just have to be yourself and put the mic in front. That's what I'm doing. Michael just walked into the studio, and I was told, hey, this guy's going to be on the air. We kind of getting him up to speed, and one of those things is being on the air. Welcome to our show. This is the Neutral Zone, subtitled, It's Anything But Neutral.
Amen. We all have our positions and we all have our orientations, but at the end of the day, let's find things that unify us so we can solve problems rather than create a divide.
See, he talks nice and close to the microphone, so he's really very present. You know, some people back away and they sound like an echo chamber, but you know to get close. That's just good. So, Michael, what is the subject, or what are you thinking of doing on the air? What kind of stuff?
Well, I've had an interesting journey from being a capitalist to a conservative, compassionate capitalist to a born-again Jew that accepted Christ as my Messiah. So my show will be a show that addresses Christianity and the real Christianity, not the commercialized American version, the building of the empire version, but the version of Christ calling his disciples to love.
So you're a spiritual capitalist, religiosity focused.
Yeah, conservative, compassionate
What
conservative.
makes you conservative?
I'm conservative because I look at capital as a tool that should generate further capital, but not just for my own world, but to create opportunities for others within the sphere of where that capital is invested. And the end result, in my paradigm, spiritually and economically, needs to always be a win-win-win.
Step back a little bit.
Needs to always be a win-win-win for all parties involved. So
to me, listen to this. To me, that doesn't sound conservative. Conservative to me means me, and those that are involved. That's sort of a very liberal concept, isn't it?
actually, it's a human concept.
So see that? We just broke through that thought that there's something against something else.
Yeah.
The left and the right aren't really different. They just perceive this event differently, and maybe, like you're sharing, your action of wanting to involve people to help people is where I'm at. So look at that. Someone might be perceived, people perceive me as left. Somehow, meaning, when I think they think about left, they think of not responsible financially, not understanding that to do all these great social programs, we need money. And we need some way to pay for this. Otherwise, things get unbalanced, and then you get some guy, let's call it nationally, like Trump, who says the end justifies the means. And I say, this is where I'm more liberal, the end does not justify the means. If you hurt people that are the building blocks, first of all, of the world, and that we all should consider everyone brothers and sisters, and that there really is no difference between me and a Muslim or anything, Buddhist, Christian, Jew. There's no difference in that we all want our own personal sovereignty, and we want to be able to honor something greater than ourselves. Or some people consider themselves God. That's a different story. Yeah. And that's a conversation for another day. But when I hear someone like I'm thinking, I can see that. So you can have different guests that talk about stuff? What's your thinking?
I'm going to have different guests, but my whole mission really is to unveil Scripture in a practical way for people, because there are a lot of people that go to church and have the ideological construct of, say, Christianity, but their disconnect from the words of Jesus and the mandates of the Christ are completely disconnected, and I want to put a light on that.
Are you a man of the cloth?
I'm a pastor, but I'm a pastorpreneur in that the collection plate isn't my way of making a living. That's my mission.
So only reason
I make my money in business.
Like the guy that's working with me, beautiful man named Jim Carrey. He's Dr. Jim Carrey. He's a theologian, doctor of philosophy, doctor of religions, doctor of computer. Jim Carrey, wonderful guy, helping me put together this so that people will understand this. multi-level concept, not multi-level, a concept that puts things together that doesn't find anyone outside the circle, because our circle is inclusive. So what do you do about that? When you said conservative, I always look at those terms, because, like I said, we have a gentleman that's a co-host. We have him in here. When I was out and ill with a hip replacement, he was my co-host, and I bring him in every so often out from the field. Scott Bushnell, really interesting guy, has his own perspective on things, and from an outside, someone would say, well, he's a Trump guy. No, he's not really. How do you, people think independently. You can't call someone a Trump person just because they voted for Trump and they might not have voted for Biden.
Yeah.
That's not a Trump person.
No, not at all.
That's an independent thinker who next time might choose differently. And some say, well, there may not be a next time because there's going to be capital, martial law declared, and this whole thing is a plan to the National Guard in the cities, and that's going to be challenged. See, when I can't really specifically get involved, I can be an example here, and everyone will say, look at all that craziness. Let's stop doing that. Let's look at what's going on here. Maybe we can follow that model. Maybe this Maui, this group, who's this Dream Makers? This guy Jason? I've heard his name before. Well, now I'm hearing Michael Weintraub. When I heard Michael Weintraub, my first brain says Jerry Weintraub.
Yeah. Family.
Jerry Weintraub,
family.
My friend is your family?
Uncle.
Oh, well, then we're going to have good
I was mentored by him in business.
Is he still alive?
No, he passed away a few years ago. When
Jerry
we talk off
Weintraub,
air, you'll hear how he passed away. It won't surprise you.
You'll hear. Well, again, this is a small world, and there's only, a reason we're talking is not only for what's happening now, in my mind, but it's the possibilities is where we are the greatest. Because in any moment, as you know, the choices of how we feel and what we do are based on what we do now. So, however I might have labeled you conservative,
can I address that thing you said on conservative in kindness?
Oh, yeah.
And I can understand it. Conservative to me isn't Rush Limbaugh. It isn't Sean Hannity. They're entertainers and pontificators.
Yeah.
And their core premise is to just inflame a group for ratings and for capital accumulation for themselves. So that's not a really true version of a conservative. A conservative just means that we're economically prudent from my perspective of conservatism.
Which I think of myself in that way. Someone could say, well, where's your pile of money? Well, what do they say? I've made mistakes with the best of them, but I did it my way. Remember,
right.
I asked them if they know Frank Sinatra, and they said to me, who?
Jerry was his manager. Anyways.
Well, Jerry Weintraub was managing. I had a friend named John Scarchino who did graphics. So the people that he was working for, Jerry Weintraub was heavily involved there. And, that's another story for another day. But you see, people think that because we look back, that we're relying on something from before to set the path for what's coming ahead. Well, that necessarily isn't the case. I may want to be able to talk to you about contacts, because those contacts that are still active, and recognizing this as a marketing plan, can see it can elevate and be a gift. It's not even a gift. It's going to give them what they want, the money, but it will help thousands and thousands and thousands of people through a different approach that is nowhere other than conservative with a twist. That twist is, who's the beneficiary of the rewards? They say when you go into heaven, giving is the greatest form of receiving. When I help, it is just the warmest feeling, and whether it's money or anything. Some people say things to me like, no one has ever helped me like this before. And that's what I want to change. That's where I want to, if you want to call liberal, my attitude is one where if you see a problem and you can help, help. Why should we be judging? And we have a lot of judgments going on. And when I think of Christianity, the only version that I see so regularly is the one that's portrayed in the media, and like you say, has been demonized because it's been brought into politics and run up on a flag, and it's not okay. And I feel very badly that happens, because Christian doesn't mean enemy, nor does Muslim, nor does Mexican. Nor does, I get crazy when people focus on a group. I saw Cabaret a few weeks ago here, and my partner Ariel used to be, they would entertain hosts. They were the hosts for clients coming into New York. They were in the cable business years ago. And they all wanted to see Cabaret. She couldn't believe I never saw the Cabaret. I know Joel Grey. Joel Grey died on the day my mother died. So Joel Grey and James Brown. You can see all them dancing? My mother dancing with James Brown and Joel Grey. But I never saw Cabaret. When I saw it, and I saw the last scene and saw that it really was a story about a confusion of prejudice. These mixed group of fruits and nuts and everything that were incredible hosts, that were Germans their whole life, were isolated and focused on. And I feel the same kind of thing going on now, and it scares the hell out of me. Sorry, that word hell snuck in. But it scares me because it reminds me that history can repeat itself, and that people aren't aware that we're all brothers and sisters,
Here's the thing that I think, that no matter what somebody's perspective is on the political divide, and that we have to call it a divide today, we have to all, in our humanity and in our individuality, look at the things that both sides, quote unquote, the talking heads of both sides, that they're making divisive. We have to look at the things that they're making inflammatory for each group of people, because there is one power behind them, and they are more alike than they are apart. And quite frankly, what are they creating distractions for on such a macro level to keep our individual eyes focused on the real challenges and what they're really working on that's going to affect all of us individually and our sovereignty as human beings and in our freedoms. And that's really the thing that's happening right now. There's such an inflammatory divide. In the midst of chaos comes a new order. Whose order is it going to be? I don't think it really includes the backbone of society that you were talking about, the working people and those that are the stakeholders that are raising families and trying to eke out their existence here.
Aren't we the choosers of what happens? I mean, granted, there are things that happen
in our
at a federal level,
right,
and at a state level, right, and in agencies that we don't control, right, and the thing. But on a local level and on a personal level, here, you and I could come up with some plan, and let's say, for example, you're a real estate developer, and you want to do this, and you have resources, but we'll talk, and you'll say, wait a minute. Who are you? You're Maui Coast property? Yeah, I always like to say, accept no imitations. That's what I did in the solar business. No one did it my way. My way was different. My way was, and again, my way was different. It's called, I do not want to be the king and have everyone else bow down to me and have everyone else kiss the ring. What does that mean? That means that we can do things and benefit the people that we were somehow thinking were a problem. They can show, there's so much that can be done locally, personally, that all these things that you're talking about, it's not that I don't see them. It would be foolish to think that I'm blind to them. But I realize that economies are local. Decisions to make a thing move forward is a local decision. If we do things that show that it can be done, quote, without a them, they may decide to somehow offer us additional resources to do what we want to do, to make them look good, maybe politically, but that doesn't matter, because what we're doing is we're solving problems locally and be an example for whether it's the big wealthy cats to jump in or people to realize we can do it ourselves. Not only can we pick ourselves up from our own bootstraps, all of us have the ability, by doing things differently, looking at people differently, giving. I mean, to me, when I hear this, people say, well, you sound like a Christian. It's been, Tom Mills was as Christian as they go. And when he met, Miss X, people thought of me as Tom Mills, so they don't know who I am. I'm the guy that years ago Tom Mills met and said, whoa, who are you? You're different. So I have a very interesting, I like to say, supporters. Let's just call them people that know me for 37 years, that know I'm a high-integrity dude. If I say blue, I meant blue. If some people remember, you're the guy that ran for election years ago. You're the guy that was there with the President Electric Company in '95 talking about creating solutions. I'm that guy, but I'm not saying I'm that guy. I'm saying who is here that through these years has been growing and growing. So right now, in God's plan, that means a plan bigger than me, they become a tool to do good. That they, plus this and all these pieces, fit together so beautifully like hand and glove. And that's what's happening as I see it. So I know that's a lot of words. I just want, when I hear, the notions of Christianity, there's a show on here, I think it's called, I don't know, something with Christians. There's a gal, and then there's another one that does Latino Connection. There are people doing stories, so that's why I'm asking about what your slant is going to be.
I'd like to share that. Please briefly. I'll be brief. My slant is that I have a ministry called Awakening a Christ-driven life, not a church-driven life, not a religious-driven life, a Christ-driven life, where I take the scriptures apart, I unveil them contextually in the manner of Jesus and what he did, versus a lot of the propaganda that is pushed in the large church environment that we now live in.
I would love to watch your show.
And I want to deconstruct. I want to deconstruct the things that are done in the name of Christ, Christian nationalism, and all these things, political stuff that seem to disenfranchise the very people that Christ wanted us to help. I address those issues and take them apart. And my heart is to bring people to the Christ of Scripture, the Christ of compassion, of love, of kindness, of tolerance and mercy, but yet through the parameters of Scripture, Old and New Testament, but not religion, relationship. That has to peripherally include our love and compassion one to another. We can't say we love God and have a problem with most people around us all the time. That's an oxymoron scripturally.
I don't know who those people are because they don't come into my life very much. Or if they do, that subject hasn't come up. But I believe that the good in everyone, in seeing that it can be done in a good way, that is supportive of themselves and others, that we're going to reach new heights of cooperation. And that's what this neutral zone is all about. To be able to have people, all kinds of people, come together and realize, hey, we're actually trying to do the same thing. What would happen if, as you're developing projects, we thought of this or that? I was thought of because I was green originally. Ooh, he's going to try to bring things down. Not the case. When I talked about doing solar electric way back when, all these things were doable then. They're more doable now. There are more things going on. We could be an incredible example. And everyone, we could house all the people. We could have enough water. We can have enough power. We can do all these things. And we can also learn that we have, as a small island, even more power. Because what would if we could create this currency that really serves local people, that helps get housing and food? They're like, housing and food credits? How does that work? To be continued. But imagine when we're talking to a developer and imagine we're talking to companies and individuals that have so much money available, they really don't need to move their money. They just need to say, I want to do, and a bank puts up the money to do it. How painless is that? So we're going to find amazing solutions that are going to, you think they're new. They're just new to our view. They're here. And that's why I say I believe in the power of goodness and what we do. You know, this vision that you have, that I am glomming on. You can see I'm looking to glom onto your vision, is where solutions happen. To quote a non-Christian guy, remember they asked Deepak Chopra, how did you get there from here? And he was talking about Sri, I forgot which one it was, the guy that was in Pacific Palisades for years. And they asked him, where do you get the money to build this thing? And he said, from wherever it is at the moment. I believe in the power of, if it can be, there's no reason to stand in the way of what goodness can deliver, because we all personally put that on, and that's where we come from. That's what I appreciate.
Here's something to think about, no matter who you are out there. If you have an idea or a plan that's been well thought out, that is a win-win-win. It wins for the investor, it wins for you, the creator, and it ultimately is a win for the consumer. Then there is all the money that exists. All the money exists to do the right thing that meets those three characteristics and criteria.
Isn't that great to hear? I haven't heard that in the mouths of some of the developers that, for example, the county has encountered. Like, we are going to build 590 houses, and we can't build too many of the affordable ones because these are different times. And I know we promised that we would widen the highway at our expense, but no, we can't. And then you find that those that are in power and in charge say, oh yeah, no, well, we need those. Wait a minute. And I just get crazy.
Well, I'm going to share
that criteria that you had is not being listened to.
I'm going to share a precursor, a teaser for a further discussion for us to have. I created a financial product that gives investors a tax-free return on their money during the period of a note to build and buy multi-residential communities through my company, my non-ministry company, my bread and butter
So like
company.
Monies from IRAs and retirement plans.
They can move it into something where they're the first trust deed holder on notes for multi-residential properties.
See, we think
on a
alike.
declining loan balance. So they win, they get a high yield, and then their kids will pay the inheritance tax for family offices and such, wealthy people.
Are you guys catching in just a few words? You're hearing one good possibility and other things as we go. That is, this program is going to become undeniably the standard for solutions, and that's how we create a new world. We create it and we expand it. You say Christianity being accepted. I say come from a loving, good place and change the world by doing things differently.
One good deed at a time.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I've adapted what I did
2 minutes
to look at the local housing crisis, and there is a plethora of parcels here that you can build an ohana on. However, most of the indigenous families that have had this property for 50 or 60 years and have never let go of it and passed it to auntie and uncle, the great nephew and such, they can't afford, many of them, to build an ohana on their property. I have a solution for that.
Because we only have a minute left, I'm not going to go there, but I know, and you'll hear me agreeing, and you'll say, what, you've been reading my book? I've been doing real estate 47 years. It's not like I don't have concept of different ways to do things. And what you're talking about is not only worthwhile, I hope to be able to join with you, join forces, so we can, what do they say, a rising tide raises all ships?
And that's why I shared it with you.
Thank you. Well, I hope to not only be on your show, welcome to the KAKU, KAKU family. MauiNeutralZone.com. You can look at this show again and listen carefully because there's a transcript of it all. Can you mention that? Not only that, by the way, you're going to have the ability to have calls in. I'm not picking it up now. This isn't me. We're a call-in, call-out talk show host. 28 seconds to go. Michael, thank you for joining me. Thank you, guys. We'll see what happened to the Andy Herold thing. I'm going to have it up there. You guys will see that. And we're getting to the end of our time. Look at that. Thank you for joining us, everyone. Thank you, Michael.